Renowned sculptor Dorian Shaw led a solitary existence within a rambling Victorian manor, crafting breathtakingly realistic figures from marble and clay. He rarely accepted commissions, driven only by some inner demon to create. Townsfolk whispered rumors regarding Dorian's nocturnal habits, strange deliveries to the manor, and occasional blood-curdling screams piercing the night. But he remained aloof to their suspicions, immersed in his art. Dorian's latest work depicted a hulking, winged humanoid with talons outstretched. He spent weeks obsessing over every grotesque detail, from the creature's distended jawline to its vacuous black eyes. At long last, satisfied with the finished demon, Dorian prepared for bed, leaving his tools neatly arranged around the inert figure. A thunderous crash jolted him awake before dawn. Creeping down to the studio by candlelight, Dorian reeled in shock to see the marble demon gone, fragments strewn about the room. Heavy footsteps echoed overhead. The impossible had somehow occurred. His creation had come to life. He followed the sounds to the foyer where the winged behemoth stood, peering out the window. It turned to regard Dorian with cavernous eyes, lips curling back to reveal jagged teeth. "Father," it rasped, taking a lumbering step forward. "I hunger." Dorian backed away in horror. "No, it cannot be. You're just cold stone." The demon laughed, a guttural rumble. "Your passion has given me form and purpose. Now I shall feed." Lunging with a roar, it smashed through the heavy oak doors into the night beyond. Dorian could only watch helplessly as it took flight on leathery wings, gliding over the sleeping village toward the nearby woodlands. A distant scream pierced the silence, then another. Over the following weeks, a wave of carnage terrorized the region. Remote farmhouses were found painted with blood, their owners strewn in pieces across the fields. Lost hikers were discovered blinded and mad, driven to suicide by visions of winged horror. The sheriff formed posses to scour the forests by day, but each night brought new atrocities. Panic swelled amidst the isolated hamlets. As a renounced sculptor, Dorian faced growing suspicions and threats from the local peasants waving torches at his gate. In the late hours, Dorian sculpted feverishly to clear his mind, creating a gallery of monsters and demons. He no longer possessed control over his hands, guided by forces he could not comprehend. Soon, a dozen thralls populated his studio, quivering in the darkness. Heavy talons on his roof stirred Dorian from his trance one full moon night. He gazed up at the skylight in abject horror as the demon perched there, framed against the crimson moon. It spread its wings and smashed through in a shower of glass, dropping to the floor with a ground-shaking thud. "The harvest was bountiful tonight, Father," it growled, blood dripping from its jaws. "But I require more nourishment." It studied the blank-eyed figures lining the studio. "These shall do for a start." The demon lunged at Dorian, but he snatched up a nearby chisel and raked it across its cheek. The beast recoiled as smoking ichor sizzled from the wound. "No more!" screamed Dorian. "I shall put you back in the cold earth where you belong." The two grappled, demonic strength against manic desperation. Dorian slashed again and again at its stony flesh until black blood drenched them both. With a final cavernous bellow, the creature shuddered and went still, collapsing to the studio floor. Panting raggedly, Dorian watched the lifeless being begin to crumble back into inanimate material. But then he heard it, laughter from all around. The lesser demons had awoken, shambling forward from the shadows. "More shall rise to take its place," they taunted in unison, clawing the air. "Your damned legacy has just begun." Dorian's shrieking denials echoed far across the moonlight fields as the studio dissolved into bedlam and bloodshed. The town constable later found only fragments of Dorian's ravaged corpse and cryptic references to waking nightmares scrawled in his journal. Boards went up over the manor doors and life carried on. But some nights, when the lonely moon bleeds crimson, eerie lights glow once more in that accursed manor. For creatures do still stir restlessly in the sealed galleries and basement workshops beneath the dusty shroud. The legacy of Dorian Shaw has permeated these grounds, perhaps still awaiting some hapless inheritor to continue nurturing that which should never have been brought into this world.